today I'm finishing out the Shrek franchise with Shrek 4, Puss in Boots, and Puss in Boots and The Last Wish. But first up is Shrek Forever After. This movie can get f***ed. Wow. I am so offended by this movie. It's not a didn't like, because there are bits that I like. There is goodness in here. But what is this movie? The answer is, it's like if you just have a vague recollection of what the other Shrek movies are, and then you decided to tell a new story. Because it gets so much shit wrong. It angers me. So the premise is Shrek longs for the good old days when people were afraid of him, when he was a true ogre. But that's impossible, because that would be like someone longing for the days when they used to get vehemently beaten and picked on. No, you're so wrong, movie. It hurts. Because if you don't remember the first Shrek movie, his whole thing is that he's looking for people who sees him as he truly is, not this big, ugly, scary monster. Yeah, he scares people a lot because that's what they expect him to do, because they're just gonna be mad and angry at him. And if he doesn't yell at them, then they're gonna stab him with some pitchforks. So he has to yell at them so they don't do that and they run away. And then he feels bad because he's like, oh, these people are treating me like shit, so I must be a shit person. And he internalizes all of that. And it's this whole downward spiral that he has that gets saved by Donkey not being an ass, which is brilliant. And then gets cemented with Fiona, also going through a very similar struggle. But this movie is just like, nah, Shrek didn't have trauma. He actually enjoyed that time in his life, because the monotony of marriage and parenthood is just that awful. No. I also just hate that premise that yeah, there's a monotony to life for sure, but I feel like this is a terrible setup when you live in a fairy tale world and anything could happen. Truly what he should be longing for isn't the good old days when he used to experience trauma on a regular basis. It should be him longing for adventure. That should be his journey, not wishing he didn't have his wife. That's so stupid and incredibly offensive. But don't worry, it gets worse. Because not only does it ignore Shrek's character in the beginning, it also ignores the second movie, in which the very first scene is a week after the end of the first movie, in which Prince Charming goes to Fiona's castle to rescue her. This what-if scenario, no one saved her. That's not what was gonna happen. Prince Charming was supposed to save her. The king made a deal with the fairy godmother to save Fiona. That was the whole thing in Shrek 2. So this idea in the fourth one that the king and queen were about to sign this deal with Rumpelstiltskin to save their daughter can't have happened, because the king had already set up for his daughter to be saved by someone else. Also, this movie's all about Shrek needing to kiss Fiona again, the one true kiss thing, whatever. And he tries way too hard for way too long to get this woman who's clearly not interested in him to kiss him. It's really creepy and disturbing. This is a way to make me hate the main character. Stop what you're doing. It's gross. I somehow didn't put this movie in the didn't like. It partially has to do that there is still charm to this movie. The actors are all good. I do like the characters. Donkey's a lot of fun in this alternative universe, so is Puss in Boots. And I can't ignore the fact that the animation in this is just gorgeous. Even though it's only been a couple years since the third one, it feels like a big step up. If you told me this came out in 2015, I would have believed you. It didn't. It came out in 2010. But yeah, no, they spent some money making these guys look pretty. So yeah, would I recommend this one? no. It is a slap in the face to the rest of the franchise. It really, truly angers me. Like, yes, there are little good parts in here, but like, that is not worth it. In my headcanon, this pile of trash does not exist. How did I not rank this movie lower? I guess I had a kind heart, but like, cross me one day, Shrek 4, I might push you down more. So yeah, don't watch this movie. Just watch the first 3, or at least the first 1. They're incredible. Ignore this garbage pile. Next up is Puss in Boots. This is a 2011 spin-off film, and the basic premise is it has to do with Puss going on a personal journey in an attempt to reconnect with his long-lost adoptive brother and former true best friend. And like, it's incredible. This is such a huge step back in the right direction. So many things about this movie are just great. First off, it's incredibly genuine. Like, they really try to make a fun action-adventure film that just happens to be set in this fairy tale universe. It just tries to tell a genuine story without feeling the need to poke fun at like, this guy's an egg or anything like that. It's just like, this dude's an egg, let's go with it. And like, speaking of the egg, the relationship between Humpty and Puss is just so strong. Like, you really feel for both of them, how they both feel betrayed by one another for different reasons. Some may be more valid than others, but you can still understand where they're coming from, even if one is clearly more on the right. So like, because of that, it's so easy to get emotionally invested in everything and every twist and turn and betrayal because everyone's so relatable. And then on top of that, you got Selma Hayek, who's always a delight to see, and her character here is Kitty Softpaws is just great. She's such a fun, interesting dynamic. I especially love too like how their relationship changes, whereas like immediately he tries to treat her like everyone else, where he just tries to sleep with her, but then like as things get revealed, he changes the dynamic, and like, he's still into her because it's Salma Hayek, but he struggles with just kind of everything, the pain of it all. Yeah, no, it's just a really good personal adventure story with lots of growth and heart. So yeah, no, I love this movie and would totally recommend it. It is a delightful, really good watch. You don't have to have seen any of the other ones to go into this. Now again, the first Shrek movie is perfect, but you can go into this one without having seen that. That's totally fine. So yes, really good movie, totally worth a watch. And lastly is Puss in Boots and the Last Wish. Holy shit, this movie's incredible. I went into this knowing people love this movie, and so I was like, is it really gonna stand up to all that praise? And it does. It does everything right. It's got a great story. It's got great characters. It's a great adventure. Everyone has something going on. That's just something that I couldn't get over. There are a bunch of characters, and practically all of them have a character arc. Like, there's Goldilocks and the Three Bears, and Goldilocks has a character arc and like dedicated scenes that are all about her story. And that's brilliant. It's so good. And then you got the villain, John Mulaney, who's just so over the top and ridiculous, and like, you get his whole story too. And then, oh my god, the cricket. I loved the Jimmy Stewart impression in this. It's so good. Oh my god. And then you got the dog, who's just so adorable, and you really feel for him and his whole journey. Yeah, that actor's been typecast, but he does fantastic here, so it's fine. I was a little annoyed at first about like, where's Selma Hayek's character? She should be around. And then she does finally show up, and I'm like, where has she been? Give me the answers. And then they do eventually give us the answer, and it's a really good answer about what's been happening with her. And that just works so incredibly well. And like, of course, the animation is gorgeous. There's no denying that. It's a beautiful looking movie. But like, they really just nail all of the things about the movie, especially the story beats. And like, it's about anxiety. It's about the fear of growing old. It's about the fear of death. It's a fear about not being the person that you've always seen yourself as. It's about finding your family. It's about finding your own identity. It's about forgiveness. It's about so much. It's such a beautiful, well-crafted film that I wholeheartedly understand all of the praise that this movie has gotten in the years since its release, and have to pile on top of that because it is just a truly fantastic film. If you have not seen it, do yourself a favor and give it a watch. You don't have to have seen any of the other films in the series to watch this one, though I would again say the first Shrek movie is perfect. The first Puss in Boots movie is also really great. It might give you a little bit more context to help with Selma Hayek's character, but you technically don't need it. You can just go into this one blind as is. Wholeheartedly, without a doubt, recommend this movie. It is so fantastic and just without a doubt needs to be watched. So yes, watch this movie. Alrighty, now for today's rankings. First up, we got Shrek Forever After, sitting at number 79 in the meh category. And then after that is the first Puss in Boots movie, sitting at number 16 in the really like section. And then to round out this series is Puss in Boots, The Last Wish, sitting at number 11 in the really liked category. This is out of a total of 93 old movies so far this year.